Hey y'all, it's Crystal. Thanks for coming by today. And we're just going to hop right into an October wrap up. So yeah, we're going to talk about what I read, maybe what I watched a little bit, what all I got into for October. We had a pretty okay October. I don't know what it is about October. I love October so much. It's my birthday month. It's my wedding anniversary month. It's just October in general. You know, fall is finally here, even though in North Carolina it's still really hot. Halloween, of course, spooky season. I mean, but it also like tends to bring a little funk to my life, and it did this year as well. So that meant I just didn't get quite as much reading done as far as what I had planned on reading, especially for some events, things like that. But I just kind of rolled with it, and you know, it's fine. So first, I think I'm just going to run through what I read first, and then kind of talk about events, and then a little bit about what I watched as well. So let's jump right into it. So, started out the month off with listening to the audiobook for Joplin's Ghost by Tananarive Due. Really loved this. Sort of a historical kind of horror about this sort of young woman who is in the music biz, and perhaps there is some kind of connection that she gets to the ghost of Scott Joplin through a sort of, I don't know, haunted piano? It was really good. I just love the way Tananarive Due writes characters. I mean, I just think she's fantastic with characters. And no exception here. I loved the characters. I loved seeing this link between the past and the present through music. It was really good. Really liked that a lot. I still forgot to get this book actually off the shelf, but it's The Ancestors, and this has 3 stories by L.A. Banks, Tananarive Due, and Brandon Massey. I really enjoyed all 3 stories. My favorite was probably Tananarive Due's story, Guys Summer. I did really like Brandon Massey's story, though, too. It was a vampire story, which was really good. And all the stories kind of linked with sort of ancestry, and was kind of the theme that connected the stories in the little collection, and it was really enjoyable. Then I read Don't Ever Tell by Brandon Massey. This is, I guess you call it like a domestic thriller type story. We're following a woman who, it basically is someone who, a woman who was previously really, really abused in her previous marriage. And this guy is, it's a total son of a bitch. And so he escapes from prison right at the beginning of the story with like basically one thing on his mind, go get his money, and then like the woman, like this is on his brain. And so we kind of see where the story goes. It's very kind of typical in that way. Like, you kind of knew what was going to happen. You knew he was going to find her and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it was okay. I'm not going to say I haven't read very much Brandon Massey, but it's not been my fave so far. It was okay. It was okay. And then I finally, this took me quite a while to finally get through my physical reading time. The month was basically what kind of suffered the most this month. Audiobooks, I listen to at work, so they were no problem, but physical reading just took me a while. But I did finish this Supernatural book. This is Fresh Meat. This is by Allison Henderson. Of course, it's based on the TV show Supernatural, and I had a really good time with this. If you're a Supernatural fan, you will enjoy it. It reads very much like a Supernatural story, or a TV episode. We're following Sam and Dean, and as they are tracking down some murders that are happening in these sort of woods of California, up kind of near the Lake Tahoe area, so a very forested area. And so at first they think it's a Wendigo, and so they track down this Wendigo, but then some people still go missing and killed and stuff. So they're like, oh, okay, we're dealing with something else. So they're dealing with something else. They bring in Bobby for this one. I love Bobby. He's a great character. So he's very much a part of this story. It was just a lot of fun. I just had a really good time with it. Alice did a great job of capturing Sam and Dean. Like Sam felt like Sam, Dean felt like Dean, Bobby felt like Bobby, It was just a lot of fun, a lot of good action, hunting action and all that kind of good stuff. And it was really good. So one thing that they put here in the front is it tells you where this story kind of fits in. So this particular story takes place during this season 7, and even between episodes, Shut Up Dr. Phil and slash fiction. So it kind of tells you kind of right where the story falls. So you can kind of get a sense of what's happened before, first characters wise, things like that. So yeah, it was really good. I had a really good time with it. It was a lot of fun. All right, so next up, I did listen to the audiobook for Jazz by Toni Morrison. This was a short book. And yeah, it was good. Like I said, I listened to the audiobook. Toni Morrison did read it herself. And I think she reads her books really well. So I remember I listened to Beloved, I think, too. She read herself. Really enjoyed that. So this one, we're following this sort of, group of characters in this city, and I don't even know how to explain it. It's like there's a married couple, and they're a bit older, and the man has got this infatuation with this sort of younger woman, and she's actually a sort of older teenage girl, and he murders her right in the beginning of the story, and then we just kind of follow their story of this woman, and there's the girl's mother, or not her mother, but her aunt is, and just weave this story of this particular time and place in this particular city. It takes place in sort of the 1920s, I believe it was, and it's just really a character study, really, of a time and place, and what's going on with these people. It was really interesting, and I did really enjoy that. So Toni Morrison, I mean, can't really go wrong with Toni Morrison, right? All right, so then I listened to an audiobook also. This is a theme here. Lots of audiobooks. So Rhode Island Red by Charlotte Carter. This was a lot of fun. It's kind of just a straight up kind of mystery story, and basically following this young woman who they live in New York City, and she's a street musician, so she plays on the street for money and that kind of good thing. And she's in this relationship that's kind of on again, off again, and right now they're on and off again. So her boyfriend has moved out, and so she's trying to make some extra money, and so she's getting out on the street and stuff like that. And she meets this guy who was another sort of street musician, and he seems a bit down and out. He's kind of asking for help, and so she lets him kind of crash at her place for the night. And lo and behold, he ends up murdered in her apartment. Then she finds him the next morning, and the story just goes from there about what's going on, there's the connection, stuff, secrets, all that kind of good stuff. It was really a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the characters, and it was just a really fun little mystery, and I had a good time with that one. And I know I believe it's a series. I would continue on at some point, I think. And read more by the author. It was just a good mystery, It was good. All right, dive into a little bit of. I was gonna lump it all together, but I'll just read it in order that way I don't forget anything. A few little smutty stories. Pumpkin Smash by Darva Green, and then Trick and Treat by Shae Sanders. All were really fun, little Halloween themed. Little erotica, smutty stories. They were a lot of fun. I did finish Christine by Stephen King. This was our book for the Stephen King read along for the month. And I had a good time with this. This was really good. I mean, basically, this possessed car. We got this young teenage kid who buys this old beat up, rundown car. He pays too much for it, but he's totally obsessed with Christine, and fixing her up and all this kind of good stuff. And he changes his personality a little bit. And we learn why. There's a history, right? There's a history to Christine and all that kind of good stuff. And it was good. I would say felt a bit long at times, but overall it was a really enjoyable story. The characters were super interesting, and as far as a King goes, it was a pretty good King book. He can be a little hit or miss. I did have an audiobook hold come in for the month for Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. I had been waiting months for this from my living from the library. And, when they just show up when they want to, right? So while this isn't necessarily a spooky themed book, I went ahead and listened to it. And I really did enjoy this a lot. I loved Michelle's voice in here. This is a memoir. And basically Michelle working through grief at the loss of her mother. struggling, and then talking about the complexities of mother-daughter relationships, particularly, her mother and, and herself. But a lot of that, I think, is kind of universal to maybe to some mothers and daughters relationships. Of course, her mom is a Korean woman, and then they moved to, America, and how that played out with her, because her dad is a white guy, and what that meant for her growing up, how food plays such a big part of her life, and how food, triggers memories, particularly of her mom, when she's crying in H-Mart because she's shopping at the store and she's like missing her mom, you know what I mean? So it was just really good. I just really loved it. I thought it was very emotional. Definitely had me in tears at some point. It was really good. I think Michelle is a good writer, and really sort of expressed what she was trying to say in this book, and yeah, it was good. It was really good. Okay, then I love their audiobook for Blacktop Waistband. Blacktop Wasteland by S.A. Cosby. Been wanting to read more S.A. Cosby, so this was the time, and this was really good. We're following a man who once upon a time was, definitely leading a life of crime, and had went through like juvenile, detention and all that kind of good stuff. But he's, he's been out for a while. He's gotten married. He's trying to go straight. He's got like this auto repair shop. And he's got a couple young kids, and he has an older daughter from that he had when he was younger. But he's trying, right? But then like life is just lifing for him. He's trying to get this business off the ground. His mom is in a nursing home, which is like costing a lot of money. His daughter is needing money for college. Things are rough right now. So when he's approached by this dude, like, we got this robbery, it's gonna be really lucrative, we need a good getaway driver, like, you are the getaway driver, like, you're skilled, and we know. And so of course he's tempted, and so he's like, okay, this one last time, kind of thing, and we know it's not gonna go well for him. And yeah, the robbery doesn't go well, and they get tied up into bigger, badder players at hand, and it was really good. Lots of action scenes in here. Car chase, some car scenes, some good just fight scenes, things like that. And it was really good, and just awesome characters. I say Cosby is someone who also, I think, just writes really good characters that you're just so invested in. You get so interested in their story, like you're really rooting for them, But yeah, so it was really good. I really liked it. I really liked that a lot. Another one I really loved was Cold Moon Over Babylon by Michael McDowell. This was the book club pick for Rachel at the Shades of Orange, her Patreon book club, and I really love this. I'm just a Michael McDowell fan. I've just come to the realization that he is for me, having finally read him this year. And this is the third book I read now by him this year, and yeah, I loved it. I really loved it. This is about a little town named Babylon, and the people that live there, and particularly this one family who, it's a grandmother and then two of her grandchildren, and the young girl, I think she's about 14ish, right in the beginning of the story, goes missing, and what that means for the town, how the town reacts, secrets. I love small town secrets. I love small town secrets. And that definitely comes to play here. The town just comes to life in this story. The way Michael McDowell writes is just, it just drips atmosphere, Southern Gothic atmosphere. The river, which itself is a character also, and it's just good. It's just good stuff. I love Michael McDowell. I love him. All right. I read a couple more smutty books. My Best Friend's Daddies, and then Humiliated at the Halloween Party. Look, I don't know. Okay, smutty Halloween smut. They were fun. They were fun. Then I listened to another audiobook, A Study in Brimstone, which is book one of the Warlock Holmes series. I read this because Cinerison's Book Nook recommended it. This is by G.S. Denning, and this was a lot of fun. This was just a lot of fun, kind of reimagining of Sherlock Holmes. If you like Sherlock Holmes, you may have fun with this story. a lot of it. Following Watson as he's telling the story, and Warlock Holmes, and who Warlock Holmes is, and there's like magical bits and supernatural creatures, and it's really a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Having finally read actually a Sherlock Holmes story this year too, it definitely I think helped my enjoyment of this Warlock Holmes story. I know it's a series. I would definitely continue on at some point when you're just in the mood for that kind of story. Yeah, it was fun. I had a good time with that one. And the audiobook was really good. All right, it's time for some physical books. Nope, this isn't a physical book. Sorry. But Christina's Ghost by Betty Wright. This is a middle grade story, and it was pretty good. We're following this girl named Christina, who is going to go stay with her grandmother for I think it's summertime, and she and her younger sibling, and when they get there, the grandmother has been in the hospital. Something's happened, so one of the smaller daughter has to go stay with her aunt for a little while, and Christina stays with her husband with her uncle, and they have this kind of rocky relationship with her uncle, but through the events that happened, as they're at this house, they kind of come together a little bit, which was really fun. So the uncle is basically, I don't know if he's house sitting, or I don't remember why he's going to this house now, but it's like his friend's house or something. I don't know, but there's ghosts inside and stuff like that. So maybe it's haunted. It's like I said, they kind of come together to kind of try to figure things out, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Really fun, just a little middle grade ghost story, perfect for the time of year. It was a lot of fun. All right, and then I did do Dark Harvest by Norman Partridge. Finally read this book. Absolutely perfect for Halloween season. It was really good, very atmospheric. Yeah, just the tone of it all, perfect for spooky season. So basically, there's a small town, and on Halloween night every year, there some basically like older teenage boys are kind of set loose on the town to track down this sawtooth Jack guy, this pumpkin-headed being, and basically kind of bring him in, and it's sort of wrapped up in this lore of this town as far as like helping like crops and things like that, and helping the town kind of survive, I guess. So there's a bit of this kind of folk horror kind of feel to it in that regards, and urban legend almost kind of too feeling about it. So we're basically following excuse me, still getting over being sick, so following this one kid on Halloween night as he's doing the night, and town secrets, all that kind of good stuff involved too. I had a really good time with it. It's just absolutely a perfect, I think, Halloween read, and I had a really good time with that. Hopefully we'll be able to watch the movie at some point, kind of see how they adapted it, because I think it's a very cinematic feeling as far as the story goes when you're reading it. Seeing some of the visuals, I think it definitely would look good on the screen. So I'm curious how they did that. So hopefully at some point, I don't know. All right, then I read just a ton of Halloween smut. I got really sick, that last week, kind of week of October. And so we were out of work and school all week. The whole house got sick, so we were out all week. And anyway, so I read a lot of Halloween smutty stories. So Hayseed by Vera and Valentine is Scarecrow smut. It was fun. Riding the Headless Horseman by Molly Likovich. A Headless Horseman smut. Probably the best one I read. I really had a good time with that one. Maybe not the best one. I don't know. Halloween Wars by Denise and Wheatley. Really cute story about this one, and very low heat for this one. So if you want non-smutty little romance story for Halloween, this was for you. It was really cute. It was a lot of fun. And then I read this whole trilogy, Jacked, Carved, and Gutted by Layla Faye. So like I said, it's a trilogy. And these were a lot of fun. Very, very dark, very, very dark stories. So just look up sort of contents for those if they seem fun, but if they seem like you want to read them. But basically, this young woman has just been through some shit, man. She's been through some shit, and so she goes to this like spooky house on Halloween night because she's gonna end it all. Like she just can't take it anymore. Like her brother's dead. I mean, she's just been through some shit, like I said. But perhaps there are 3 ghosts that are haunting this old house. And maybe they blame her for being dead. And so they have some kind of revenge in mind. The story goes from there, but very, very smutty, very dark. But I had a really good time with all 3 of those. And I don't know, just like I said, look up those content warnings for those. And then I read Mummy, Sorry, Latrexa by Latrexa Nova. Mummy smut. Anubis shows up. I don't know. This one was a lot of fun too. Played and then Pumpkin Surrogacy by Michelle Taylor. Very weird one. That was a strange one. Played by the Pumpkin Spice Man by LL or Marck. A little Pumpkin Man. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, very good. It was cute. Is that the last one of the smutty ones? No, because then I read Kissing the Coronavirus by MJ Edwards and hated it. Okay, so that ended the smutty reads for the month. I learned, I guess when I'm sick, I just read smut. I don't know. All right. So, a couple more things. I guess I didn't write this down in my book, but I did read this story. The Harry Horror Trick. Did I read this? I didn't read this last year or last month, did I? Anyway. The Harry Horror Trick by Scott Corbett. This was a really fun story too. These 2 boys are looking to play a prank on the old lady next door. The one kid, I guess through like one of our previous books, I guess there's a series of books with these 2 boys, but he has this like magic kit which does actual magic things. But it's Halloween night. One of the kids' cousins has showed up for the night, and she's kind of ruining things for him, but there's like a witchy lady that lives in the neighborhood. I don't know, it's cute. The trick goes terribly wrong, of course, and so they try to figure out how to fix things before their parents get home for the night. It was a cute little Halloween story. Really just, these fun little apple paperbacks are fun. So that was fun. Another middle grade book I read was The Haunted Halloween by Irene Schultz. This is part of the Woodland Mystery series. I don't know much about, but it followed these group of kids, what they call the Woodlanders, who are all, I guess, orphans. But anyway, another one that takes place right on Halloween, and their group of kids are trying to make a haunted house in their basement for Halloween, but also they got these creepy dudes that are like scoping out the neighborhood to try to rob them, to rob people during Halloween night. So there's that going on too. That's the mystery part, and maybe they get kind of wrapped up in it too. It was just a really fun little Halloween story. Again, perfect for Halloween. Little middle grade fun story. It was cute. And then I did finish this manga, The Summer That Hikaru Died, by Moku Mokurin. This is volume 1. This is a horror manga. I really enjoyed this. Very excited to see where volume 2 goes, because especially the way volume 1 ended, it was really good. Yeah, so basically Hikaru kind of goes up into the mountains, and he goes missing for maybe a couple of days, but he comes back, but he's not the same. He's absolutely not the same. He seems the same, like he looks the same, stuff like that. Talks like him, has his memories and all that kind of good stuff. But Yoshiki, who is Hikaru's best friend, knows something's up, and he like confronts him like, "You're not really Hikaru, right?" And then he's like, "How did you know?" But things start happening in the town, and yeah, I don't know. Like I said, where it ended, I'm curious because I gotta know what's going on now. But some really just good horror imagery in here, especially like I said towards the end when kind of I was like, what? Just an overall kind of just eeriness underneath it, because we know right from the get go that this is not Hikaru, right? So we're figuring out who what's going on? You know what I mean? What's in the woods? What's up in the mountains? Well, yeah, really good stuff. I was just really super interested. So, yes. So that, I think, ended my month. Again, I just had so much more on my TBR that I was going to read, but anyway, because particularly for Occult Detective October, which was the big readathon that I was going to be participating in for the month, because I was a co-hosting for that, and I got to, I think, 3 Occult Detective books, maybe just 2. So the Supernatural book definitely counted for an Occult Detective story, and the Warlock Holmes book definitely counted for a Occult Detective story too. I think that was it. So yeah. I feel like I sort of failed miserably at Occult Detective October, but that's okay. You know, I think I'm just going to plan on bringing it back next year. So I'm going to try to read some more Occult Detective books throughout the year to prepare myself for next year. And I tell a story, because I didn't actually write this down either, did I? I'm really bad at note-taking this month, because I did read Green Tea by J. Sheridan LaFatu, which is a short story, which is kind of occult detective-ish. We've got this guy who is looking into this book about this girl who, what happened to this girl. I don't know how to explain it, really. It's kind of hard to explain, but so which also fit for Victober. I was trying to dip a toe in Victober, so I did read a short story by J. Sheridan LaFatu. So I'm counting it, dag on it. But yeah, I had so much more planned for my Occult Detective books. Just didn't get to them. It's fine. Same for Halloween. I think I ended up reading 3 middle grade books, which is actually pretty good. I read these 2, plus the Betty Wright story, Christina's Ghost. So, I mean, that's pretty good. And then the big thing that I did this October was Blackoween. I really nailed Blackoween this year, and through the power of audiobooks. But I focused, of course, on Joe's Library, which is part of Tulla's Parish, which was the whole thing for Blackoween this year, which is amazing. I loved it. And of course, Blackoween created by Locked Petition. I'll link everyone that I mentioned, but Halloween was created by Storm Reads. Yeah. To read middle grade spooky books. Anyway. So for Blackoween, there were 6 prompts for each location. If you finished 5 to 6 prompts, 5 to 6 prompts, you got the, what was it, Inspector Bontemps level, which is what I was going for. And I got 5 of 6. Yeah, so historical reference, I used Joplin's Ghost for that. By Tananarive Due. And then a mystery book set in the 2000s, I did Don't Ever Tell by Brendan Massey. Book published by a black man, I used Blacktop Wasteland for that by S.A. Cosby. Book with a musical element, I used Rhode Island Red by Charlotte Carter, because the big musical element of her being the street musician. Joplin's Ghost, of course, would have worked for that too. And then Free Space, I used The Ancestors, which had the 3 stories by Brendan Massey, Tananarive Due, and L.A. Banks. So yeah, only one I didn't finish was the mystery book set in the 70s. Just didn't quite get to that one, so I'm really happy, of course, with my Blackoween progress. Very excited for that. So yeah, had a good time with Blackoween this year. And then, of course, I did my Halloween movie marathon. Kelsey over at Slam and Slashers did a Patreon, kind of Halloween movie marathon prompts for us, and had a bunch of prompts and things like that. And but I actually watched other things too. I watched, I think it's called Titane. I don't know how to pronounce it. Finally watched that. Loved it. I watched Godam, which is a South Korean movie. A bunch of I think it was about six or 8 little short sort of spooky vignettes, all based on urban legends. Which is really good. There's some other things I watched, I think, that weren't part of the prompts. But anyway. So for the Halloween movie marathon, for the prompts, to watch a movie from your birth year, I finally watched House, that wackadoo Japanese movie about these these girls that go to this crazy house with one of the girls' aunts. Stuff got going wrong. Girls start missing. It is absolutely bizarre, crazy town. I loved it so much. For a movie or show set during the fall, I watched Garfield Halloween. I love that little short video. I love that one. A movie with a spooky word in the title. I used the video Dead. This one is not very good, but it was a lot of fun. This was one of the group watches that she did for us over on her Patreon. We watched it as a group. Fun to watch as a group for sure. About this, I guess like that zombies or dead people come out of the TV. I don't know. It was fun. I didn't get to watch a remake or movie that has a remake. Favorite comfort movie or TV episode? I watched 2 episodes of Going 17. Some other spooky episodes, Tag and Ego. Had a really good time rewatching those. They were really fun, spooky episodes. That 17, the K-pop group. For their Going 17 show, very, really good. And they actually released another spooky episode. I hadn't watched it yet. I had time to watch it yet, but I'm excited to watch it. Okay, so for a movie or episode that involves a ritual or summoning, and for the prompt, a movie that has no people on the movie poster, I used The Wailing, actually another South Korean movie. Really, really good story about, I don't even know how it was a lot going on in here. There were like, something that was turning people into kind of zombie-ish kind of people. Not zombies technically, but they turned violent. And then there was like this sort of ghost element, and then there's a lot going on. It was really good. I really liked it a lot. Movie by a director you like, but that you hadn't seen yet. So big fan of Old Boy and that director. Watched Lady Vengeance by this director. Really enjoyed it. Really good revenge story. Actually, another South Korean movie. Really good revenge story. Wonderful acting. Loved it. Then watch a Kelsey suggestion. We watched Hellraiser. My favorite horror movie. She did that as a group watch for us too, which was fun. And yeah, so that's kind of it for what I watched. I think I probably watched a couple other things, but I was trying to dig into some foreign movies for this year for spooky season, and I did check some things off my list. Oh, I watched Wreck too. Yeah, I watched that one. That was really good. Found footage, kind of zombie type movie. That was really good. Because I feel like maybe there's something else. But anyway, phew. So that's it. But my reading didn't quite go as planned. I did, watch some things that I was really wanting to watch for a long time, and just, I just had fun with the month. So yeah, let me know what your October was like. What was your favorite thing that you read or favorite thing that you watched? Do you dig into scary movies in October? Let me know. I want to know how your October was. And yeah, that's gonna do it for me. I think that's it. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're doing well, and it's gonna be another year before I know it. Can you believe it? So take care, y'all. We'll see you in the next one. All right.